Life review.
Hey,
Even comes for every golden seat.
like होला
80 वाला ना 50 वाला.
झूठी हमको असुविधा होती
हम्म.
गला होला ये कि जिब्बा भी सेठी वर्षा वर्षा होती असुविधा संडे फाइनल क्लास होती So, hello everybody. We will start from the next part of fundamental rights. We went up to right against exploitation. We have discussed all these things. Now we shall discuss right against exploitation. I told you probably right against exploitation, that is 23 and 24 are complementary to Article 20, 19 and 21. Because the life should be free from exploitation. If one has right to life, right to personal liberty, then one should be free from exploitation and child labor, all these things. So 23, 24 are in complement to 19 and 21. They provide the basis for the realization of freedom and the right to life. In Article 23, that is like I probably told you, the article prohibits the that is trafficking in human beings and beggars, any form of trafficking, or if you understand, trade in human beings, So that is human trafficking and you can say prostitution, smuggling, organ smuggling, all these things, beggar, forced labor, and bundle labor are restricted in this country, are restricted in our country, means are prohibited in our country. So, Immoral Traffic Act, an act is there, you can say Immoral ट्रैफिक एक्ट एक बनाया गया है इमोरल ट्रैफिक एक्ट में 1956 में बनाया गया था एंड इसमें बहुत सारा प्रोविजन है जो मतलब इट बैन्स any type of human trafficking in the country, and it is designed on the basis of International Convention on Immoral Trafficking, but to prevention of immoral trafficking in 1950. There was a convention. So, Immoral Traffic Act 1956 is an act which bans all form of human trafficking in the country. That is, you cannot detain a person in premises where prostitution is carried on. Prostitution in or the vicinity of public places, seducing or soliciting for purpose of prostitution. Everything, Section 9, section of seduction of a person in custody. Detention in a corrective institution. Notification. All these things are there. And also Bonded Labor Act, that is also Bonded Labor Abolition Act 1948. Okay, and you can say there are Factories Act, Industrial Dispute Act 1947, Industrial Dispute Act 1947. So there are a number of things are related to relation of this act, industrial Disputes Act 1947, and Forced Women's Factories Act, Contractual Labor, that is Contractual Labor Act 1970, Contractual Labor Act. So lot of enactment has been made in the country to prevent any form of exploitation to human beings. It also bans prostitution, organ transplantation, all these things. Okay. Then prevention of child labor. For this purpose, Child Labor Prevention Act 1986 was enacted. Under this act, a 14-year child or below it were not allowed to be engaged in any hazardous occupations. Later, Child Labor Prevention Act was modified in 2016 and it became Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition Act. Under this act at present, a child cannot be employed in any circumstances, any occupation, but an adult child can be occupied in non-hazardous sectors. That is a point you have to remember. Okay. So there is a lot of acts have been done, and Child Labor Prevention Act, Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition Act, and that is also enacted. In this way, government is trying to have a control over the child labor and right to education and other facilities are provided to children so that they will not be employed at a tender age. But still, India is home to largest number of tribal population in the world, because depending upon its population. Okay, that is Child Labor Prevention Act. Now, another important articles in the Constitution of freedom, religions, articles related to provisions related to freedom of religion. It contains it is a secular strength of the nation. We are a secular country because the Constitution provides equality or freedom in the matter of religion, and that is basic rights. India being a multi-religious country, but the substantial population of the countries are Hindus. So, in a multi-dominant religion, in the context of dominant religion, it was feared that other religions might suffer at the hand of the majority religions. Hence, religion has been left to the choice of the individuals, not to the choice of the state. State will not profess propagate any particular religion. Individual can, groups can, but state cannot. So 25 provides right to profess and practice, propagate any religion and entitled to freedom of conscience. Right to freedom of conscience, 25. The rights are available to citizens and non-citizens. The rights imply that these are things subject to public order, morality, health, and other provisions related to control. The subject order, public order, morality, or health. If our religious freedom violates or comes in the way of public order or morality, that is therefore called the restrictions on the grounds. Okay, so freedom of conscience is also there. When any person in India can change to other religions, can follow any religions of his choice. The state or any allied centers institution cannot allow. Okay, then right to 26. Freedom to manage religious affairs. Right to establish and maintain institutions. So under this what comes? Under this comes to establish and maintain educational institutions title purpose to manage its own facilities, matters of religion. Right to own and acquire movable and immovable property. Right to administer such goods. So there are a lot of things common under Article 26. Right to manage its own affairs in matters of religion. Right to own and acquire movable properties. That is 26. 27. Freedom from taxation for promotion of religion. Then cultural freedom from taxation from active promotion of any religion. The state cannot impose any religious tax on the citizens, and that cannot be spent for the public good also. Okay, so 27 is gone. Sorry, 28. Freedom from attending religious instructions. Okay, so it implies that the state-run public institutions or state-run educational institutions cannot impart religious instructions on the premises. It also allows that it doesn't allow that private buses run by private or any other private agency. Okay, so the state cannot impact religious instruction and cannot force any arrangement for literary religious instruction in the premises of the schools. It is there. So freedom from attending religious instruction is a fundamental rights. So right to freedom of religion is, in other words, a set of rules that make India a secular country. Just a minute. Okay. So 25, 26, 27, 28. These are secular strengths, and apart from them, there are a number of articles also. The cultural and educational rights of minorities, not especially minority, not only for minorities. It is also for all. So, but specifically made for minorities. And in case of minorities, there are two types of minorities recognized: linguistic minority and religious minority. First, religious of 1993. 1993 Muslims, Christians, okay, Sikh Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Parsis, and plus 2014 Jains. Okay, so these are religious minorities in India. Remember the word minority is not mentioned in the constitution. It is not mentioned in the constitution. Okay, and there are a number of more than 1,000 linguistic minorities in India. The right to conserve the native language, script, and culture of the minorities. So, in a nutshell, language, script, and culture are provided So only three things are needed for this purpose. A special linguistic officer, a linguistic office, commission's office is appointed by under Article 350B. The office is located in your Allahabad, and there are certain regional branches also. Okay, so there is native rights, linguistic and culture. Next 30, and it is also there in no denials, no person shall be denied admission to any educational institutions on the ground of religion, race, caste, or language. Okay, so there shall be no denial of admission on the basis of language also. So at 29 is meant for both all persons. No person can be denied. But 30 is related to minorities in India, not any other minorities of any other country. Okay. So 30 is to right to establish and maintain educational institutions, minorities, with religious and linguistic both. So to purchase any educational any property, movable, immovable property, and to have their own management rules that can be. So all minorities have the right to establish and administer their educational institution of their choice. That is 30. All minorities shall establish and administer of their choice. The compensation amount fixed by the state for the compulsory acquisition of any property of the educational institution of the minorities shall not abrogate or restrict the right guaranteed to them under this article. This provision has been added by 44th Amendment Act. In granting aid while to other educational institutions, the state shall not discriminate also. So we tell administer of their choice. Every second provision is compensation compensation in case of compensation to while acquiring 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 property, compulsory acquisition of property shall not abrogate, shall not restrict or abrogate the right of minorities. তারপরে while sanction grants to educational institutions. So these are the certain provisions. So it is 30 and in Kesavananda Bharati case 1976, the Supreme Court also held that minority rights are the basic structure of the Constitution. Okay, so 20 and 30 also specially designed for minorities. It is not that it is only exclusively available to them. It can be available to other institutions, other language and other institutions. Then right to property is deleted at the repealed article. It has been deleted by 44th Amendment Act and now it is under 300, not 301. That is 300. Okay, just correct. That is 300. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so that is 300, not 300. A. 300A in the Part 12 as a legal right or a constitutional right. But several restrictions under 31A, B, 31C has been added to give effect to certain duties or certain DPSPs. Okay, next is right to constitutional right. This is the last constitutional right under the Constitution of India, the last fundamental rights. It is quite an important right so far as fundamental rights are concerned because such rights are well acknowledged as rights to live in the country. So fundamental rights 32 has nothing to do with the provisions, rather to provide protection, constitutional protection against the violation of fundamental rights. So being a fundamental rights, it protects other fundamental rights. Hence it is called fundamental of the fundamental. And Ambedkar has said that Ambedkar has said, just let me tell you the dialogue of Ambedkar. It's a beautiful, it was a beautiful amendment, a beautiful dialogue made by Ambedkar during the Constituent Assembly sessions. Okay, so Ambedkar said that if I was asked to name any particular article in the Constitution, if I was asked to name any particular article in this Constitution as the most important, an article without which the Constitution would be a nullity, a Constitution would be rejected, I could not refer to any other articles except this one. It is the very heart and soul of the Constitution, and very heart of it. I'm glad that the House has realized its importance. So Ambedkar described it as heart and soul of the Constitution. And it is described as heart and soul because without 32 fundamental rights are meaningless. They don't have any usefulness, that they don't have any significance. They have significance because protection is available. And we had already discussed in the features of fundamental rights, we had discussed that justiciability or enforcement of the fundamental rights, enforcement of fundamental rights is much more important. So 32 empowers or protects anyone whose fundamental rights are violated. Okay, that is the things. Then what is done under Article 32? Under Article 32, Supreme Court has ruled that Article 32 is a basic structure of the Constitution. Hence, it cannot be abridged or taken away again by way of amendment to the Constitution. Both the Supreme Court and High Court can issue writs of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo and certiorari for the enforcement of fundamental rights. But what is special about Supreme Court is that it cannot deny to entertain any matter under 32 if it is related to fundamental rights. Okay, so that is the prohibition. So let's the habeas corpus case. That is Jabalpur case. You take habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is a Latin word and it has a meaning of to have the body of. It is issued to occupy a court a person who has been detained, another person to produce before the latter before it. If it is suspicious arrest or detention, I mean, if it is it is illegally arrest, then the Rapid will habeas corpus will be produced. So this court examines the cause and legality of the detention to set the detained free if the detention is not found to be illegal. If it is illegal, then habeas corpus will not be issued. So in case of habeas corpus, there was a case you can take also. It said that in Jabalpur, ADM Jabalpur, 'Okay'. So that is ADM Jabalpur versus that is Shivkant Shukla, 1977. The court said that habeas corpus cannot be suspended even during national emergency under Article 359. It is considered one of the major protective elements. That is, it. Okay, so it is an order issued by the court to currency was detained another person produced by the letter. The court examines the cause of legality in detention. It would set them free if the detention is found illegal. So habeas corpus means the keyword. The court then examines the cause and legality of the detention. It would be detained person free, so it is like your Article 22 is available. It is called bulwark of the individual. Bulwark. Because it can be issued by any person, by public authorities, by individuals. It is the only writ which can be issued against individuals. Okay. Then mandamus. It literally means we command. It is usually issued against negligence of duties by public authorities or by any judicial authority. It can be okay. So it is asking to in case of negligence of duties. If an official authority or judicial authority does not perform up to the expectation, then they have by the asking to perform of it felt it can also issue against any public body, corporation, imperial court, tribunals, it cannot be issued against private individuals, President of India, governors of the state. Okay, mandamus, we command. It is issued by a higher court to lower court or a tribunal, either transfer or case. That is, so it is issued by okay. So it is mandamus directs inactivity. Mandamus directs inactivity, whereas prohibition directs inactivity. It is activity, it is inactivity. Mandamus tells us to do something, prohibition prevents us from doing something extra. Okay, then quaranto by what authority? It literally means by what authority? It is issued of a court to inquiry to the legality of the claims of a person to a public office. It is therefore a legal instrument against illegal usurpation of office. Certiorari literally means to be certified or to be informed. It is issued by a higher court or lower court or a tribunal either to transfer a case pending with the letter or issued to the cause of the order of the latter. It is both preventive and curative in nature. It is not available against legislative bodies and private individuals. Okay, so we have briefly taken look at your enjoy. Okay, then we shall come to suspension of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights suspension means fundamental rights can be suspended twice in two occasions. It is. Okay. So suspension means what? Suspension does not mean termination. Suspension temporary termination of the rights. One thing. Okay. And presidential fundamental rights can be suspended on during national emergency. During national emergency, the governor can suspend fundamental rights under Article 359. Okay. Then also during martial law, okay, to suspension. Then during national emergency, during martial law. And here one thing you have to remember, if you win the election, if if national emergency is imposed on the ground of national war and national in, sorry, war and external aggression, then Article 19 is automatically suspended. Other fundamentals can be suspended under Article 59 if President so fits. Okay, so President can make a proclamation automatically suspend. Okay, the one that suspend the other for right to receive. These orders must be approved by the Parliament, but he cannot suspend the freedom of Article 20 and 21 in the any circumstances. But after Kosovo Bharati case, it is said that then martial law. During martial law, the fundamental rights are suspended. But remember, the word martial is not one mentioned in the Constitution. Okay. Oath given by the President. Oath by President. Article 35. Article 35 lays down that power to make laws and to give effect to certain specific fundamental rights are developed in Parliament. Restrictions upon enjoyment of fundamental rights. Although fundamental rights are same for all citizens. Okay. So why restriction? Restriction means for to in order to in the interest of the security of the nation and friendly relation with other countries, bilateral relationship. If any dialogue makes such remarks, he will okay. That is the enjoyment will be banned. Means for the discipline purpose, for discipline among the persons in defense, paramilitary forces, intelligence services, analogous services, etc. But the nature and content of martial law is not mentioned in the Constitution. That is left to the Parliament. Under Article 34, the Parliament by law imposes restriction on fundamental rights which is not then empower the Parliament to indemnify any government servant means to declare means to that not to be accused of anything They are safe. Okay. Then amendability of fundamental rights. In case of fundamental right, I told you that it can be amended under 368 in part XX. Okay, so fundamental rights are available fundamental requisites in a democratic society. However, the nature of fundamental rights should be in tune with the changing time. In Shankari Prasad case, the constitutional validity of the First Amendment, which curtailed the right to vote, was challenged. The Supreme Court ruled that the power of the Parliament to amend the Constitution under 368 also includes the power to amend the Constitution. Law does not mean, does not include Constitution. Law does not. Okay. And again, in Momonrao case, 19 Supreme Court ordered the doctrine of basic structure clarified that it would apply to Constitutional Amendment Act enacted in service on July 1973. Okay, so these are the assessment of fundamental rights, amendability. Okay, so there have been many cases like Amendment Shankar Prasad, Goloknath, Punjab, Peshawananda, Boman Rao. Okay, there are a lot of cases have been there. So from the Supreme Court. Okay, okay. So this is all about your papers. Fundamental rights. Questions. Consider the following statements. Consider the following statements. A constitutional government is one which places effective restrictions on the individual liberty for state interests. State authority places of effective restriction on the authority of the state in two. Because democracy both rights are given to the state as well individuals. Both are correct. Okay, so you turned right. Next, consider the following statements. Statement 1, the question, it is a question. We can rectify it. It is a question, not a option. Okay. Sure. No one can be complained. Here is the right to produce outside. Okay. Reads A. So it will be violative of the rights to freedom of speech and expression because no one can be compelled. It will be violative of the right to freedom of conscience and will be obliging to anyone in the law. So A. Okay, so that is it will be violative of the fundamental rights, violative of the right to freedom of conscience in 25, in 19(1)(a), and that is there. So 1, 2, 3 are correct. Assertion. What will be the answer? Assertion is the word minority is not defined. Reasoning is minority commission is not a constitutional body. Both are right. B. Which of the following is are included in the fundamental rights? 23 is included. It is not there. It is in DPSP side 23. 301 pertains to right of road in now. 300 right of road, right to property is a legal right but not a fundamental right. 300 pertains to right to property. It 300 about 301 ଅଛି ଏଇଟା ଠିକ ଅଛି right to property is legal or constitutional right. 300A was inserted in the India by government, yes, by the Janta government. So only two. Only two. Next, match list with list 2. 14, 15, 16, 17 agricultural state shall not discriminate against citizens on the ground of religion, race, caste, place. 15. So it is 15. B1, A2. There is 16, 17. 17 untouchability. It is 16. Okay. Then 8, A2, B1. Fourteen shall not discriminate. The B, B2, A1, D3, 4. Tell answer. Which of the following rights enshrined belong to citizens only? One, three, four. 21 is available to all. Which of the statement is not correct? 32. It provides remedies, enforcement of fundamental rights, yes. It is a part of fundamental rights, yes. Supreme Court cannot refuse to petition. Yes. Protection under 32 is applicable to so which has nothing to do with fundamental rights. D. In which of the following case Supreme Court held that a constitutional amendment is now a law under the definition of law. Which Goloknath case. Which committee was appointed to identify the criminal among the obese? Ramnandan Committee. Which of the following statement is correct with regards to Constitution of India? The President and Governor is not liable to answer any court of law, yes. If no member of Parliament shall liable to any proceedings, any court of respect of anything said or no vote, the foreign sovereigns ambassadors it will not enter, they enjoy. Okay, so answer C. In which year Protection of Civil Rights Act came into effect? Universal Act 2010. There is no specific provisions in the Constitution that authorize executive to impose martial law. It implicit the Article 34 under which martial law can be declared. So I think both are right. There is assertion reasoning. Article 19 में जोड़ा assertion under the Constitution of India, no person shall be compelled to pay any tax for the promotion of any religion. This is in keeping with the secular, yes. But remember, fees can be imposed. Fees can be charged. Tax cannot be imposed, but fees can be charged. Okay. 20. Okay. Article 12 of the Constitution provides definition of the state. Correct. Judiciary also comes under definition. No. So only one. Okay, so we have completed fundamental rights. Okay, so just a minute. We will continue with the DPSP, new chapter. Mm, okay, okay. So that is the things we shall now share. Okay, now we shall come to criticism of the fundamental rights. We have seen many fundamental rights and also the restrictions, their implications, and also restrict suspensions. But fundamental rights are also being criticized in a larger way. They are not free from criticism. Some critics say that it is suffered with beset with innumerable restrictions, means given in one hand, taken away in other. So that loses the vitality of the rights because most of the time fundamental rights suffer from excessive restrictions. So excessive restrictions imposed by the government or parliament from time to time makes people's lives more severe. Okay, so innumerable restrictions. So there should be some restrictions genuinely, but the Supreme Court also decides the reasonableness of restrictions. And if the restrictions are unreasonable, then it will be struck down. Then vague provisions. Okay, vague provisions. That is also a point of view. Means the provisions mentioned in the preamble in the fundamental rights like public order, morality, decency are not well defined. What constitutes public order? What constitutes decency? What constitutes all these things are not well defined in the Constitution. Okay, there is vague provisions. So there should be, if not in the understanding of a common man, then fundamental rights lack social and economic rights. It only contains fundamental rights of the people. So social and economic rights are also essential to a basic right, but they are not provided. Okay. So the terms that are mentioned is not well defined and it is beyond the perception or comprehension of common man. So no social and economic rights are also discussed. They are found in DPSP but not in fundamental rights. So that is also a drawback of the part 3. Theoretical remedies. The remedies that are available under Article 30 are quite expensive and it's not possible or easy matter for a common man to move to the Supreme Court on this matter. So they are only theoretical remedies. No permanence is there. The fundamental rights are not to be stand permanent. They need some amendments. Suspension during national emergency, I told you. So suspension is also a drawback because they are suspended during the national emergency. So these are the major drawbacks of the fundamental. But despite drawback, fundamental rights hold a very crucial place or a unique place in our political system. In fact, they are a lifeline of democracy and they need to be strengthened in a more comprehensive and competent manner. So they need to be strengthened, they need to be revised in time to time, but this should be there. So now, apart from fundamental rights, there are also other fundamental rights in the Constitution. There no tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law. Okay. So what are the rights? Other rights beyond Part 3. You can look on the screen. One is no tax can be levied or collected except by authority of law. There is also right against arbitrary taxation is there. No person shall be deprived of wages property. Except by authority of law 30 Trade and commerce shall be free across 301 in part 13. Okay. Okay. So Article 265 to Article 265 and be free. That provision is borrowed from Australian Constitution. Now DPSP. DPSP. DPSP are there are also rights. There are social and political rights of the people, economic rights. Fundamental rights and political rights. Both are essential for the growth of the democracy. Okay. So DPSPs are guidelines to government, public institutions to carry out government in the country. They are enumerated. They are enumerated in Part IV, 36 to 51. Okay, so that is 36 to 51, and it is borrowed from the Irish Constitution. It contains social and economic democracy. They are as important as fundamental rights. They are as vital as fundamental rights, but why they have not been made unjusticiable? It is because of the means the lack of resources on the part of the government. Okay, so they are not included, but doesn't mean they are not important. They're quite important, more important, so to say. And hence, for this purpose, Ambedkar describes it as a noble feature of Indian Constitution. The right principles along with fundamental rights contain the philosophy of the Constitution we have discussed. Main goal of the Constitution. The governor has described directive principles and fundamental rights as the conscience of the Constitution. Both are conscience. It is conscience. Okay. Then the characteristics, the basic characteristics Okay, characteristics. DP speech are related to social justice, economic welfare, foreign policy, legal and administrative matters. DP speech are found mentioned in the Instrument of Act, Instruction in Government of India Act. These are the constitutional instructions on the recommendation of the state in legislative and executive administrative spheres. They are constitutional recognitions. They are constitutional recognitions. Okay, so quotations वगैरह सब था quotes on the PSP. We shall discuss that. So the principle or objective all-round development. They constitute comprehensive social all-round development of the world. So together, fundamental rights and the PSP constitute the basic objectives of the Constitution. Affairs non-justiciable. Okay, so then they are not non-justiciable. Why DPSPs are not made non-justiciable? Because of the lack of resources, vastness or plurality. Okay, so DPSPs are divided into three types: socialist, liberal, and your Gandhian. And 36. Okay. So Article 37. Definition of state same as Article 12. In the country. That is 7. So rest is 38 begins from DPSP. One is 37. DPSPs are fundamental in the governance of the country. And 36 is definition of states. Okay. Okay. Socialistic principles are so called because are based upon social, they are basically they preach about an egalitarian state. So they're based upon socialism and social principles. 38 uses social order. Social order means very, you can say, useful social structure where for the promotion of the welfare of the people population to minimize inequalities in income status and facilities. Okay, so 38 is about securing a social order, minimize inequalities in income status, facilities, and opportunities. A lot of things have been done. 38 by there are a lot of programs like land reforms and income tax generation, progressive tax structure. Lot of things we shall discuss the provisions that have been made to give effect to DPSPs towards the end of the chapter. 39. 39 is all about the right to adequate means of livelihood. For that purpose, the national level programs, employment generation programs, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act and the Swarna Jayanti. So A 39 age means of livelihood, the equitable distribution of material resources, prevention of concentration of wealth, preservation of health of workers and children, and opportunity for healthy development of children. Okay, so equal pay for equal work. ବାସ୍ ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ଲାଇଭଲିହୁଡରେ ଯିବ ଏଇଟା equal pay, or healthy development children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. ठीक है जी. These are the duties, the fundamental DPSPs. They have been classified into three principles: socialist, Gandhian, and liberal. We shall discuss each of them, and also at the end of the chapter, we shall see what steps have been taken by the government of India to realize these DPSPs. Okay, so Article A or 2930 baht. 39A, Gandhian principles, Western liberal principles, and then implementation. We shall discuss various provisions, acts, acts, schemes that have been launched in the country to give effect to DPSP. Okay, and then you need. Okay, so I hope to continue next class. These were the provisions. Okay. The next class we shall be starting from Article 39. Okay. Till then, I believe goodbye to all of you. Okay.